Hello everybody. I am well aware that it has been over a year since my last YouTube video. The last video was the IFBB Pro show day vlog way back in October 2024, and it's now February 2026. So it goes without saying that there has been a lot of things going on over here, a lot of big life changes, and I mean, some of those things I have shared on my Instagram. For those of you that follow me on there, you'll know what I'm about to explain. But I guess let's just kind of rewind back to the end of the 2024 season, because I feel like there's a lot to this story that I would like to share, just to give a bit more context, because today I'm going to talk to you guys about what's been going on and, you know, what is next for me, what is going to be coming up in this new chapter. I'm going to kind of take you all back to the end of my last season, just to give a little bit of context to what happened, how I was feeling, and I think it will paint more of a picture as to why I'm back on YouTube right now. So at the end of the 2024 season, I truly mean every word that I said about how proud I was of the look that we brought. You know, when I competed in Texas specifically, I think that was the best look of my whole career. I don't just mean the physique, I mean the confidence, the presentation, the glam, the bright pink black ice bikinis, suit. Just everything was so amazing, and the show was brilliant. It's definitely a highlight of my career. But coming away from those shows, you know, getting those 3 top 10 placings, it was very consistent, and I knew that I had some reflecting to do, because ultimately for me to keep progressing and move further up in the ranks of the pro bikini division, I was going to have to go even harder. And when I say go harder, I mean, for me to look like that, I was already training with so much intensity. I was doing, you know, like 6 to 8 plates a side on a leg press, and training 5 days a week, and just going all in. Because when you want to look like the girls at the top, it's very demanding, and you know, things like genetics play a role. But I also want to talk a little bit about the fact that I used the time post show to reflect on so many things, not just who I am as an athlete and my goals within the sport of bodybuilding, but also on other things in my life. And all too often, I think you see a lot of competitors go through the sport year after year after year, and they never do this. And it can come to bite you in the bum years later if you don't audit yourself, your values, and where you're headed, and things like business, career, relationships, family. So those are all things that are very, very important to me. And so, yeah, I wanted to not only come away from the season and decide my next steps with being in the gym and physique development, but also set myself some other goals. And this is something that I encourage all of my posing clients to do. I like to provide mentorship as well when it comes to mindset and just being a well-rounded woman, being a well-rounded athlete. So I wanted to revisit my values, and for me personally, I had gotten to a stage where what would have been required of me to get to that next level no longer was aligning with how I wanted to live my life and where I see myself headed for the future. And it's a really difficult thing to navigate, because of course I love bodybuilding, but by definition bodybuilding is that constant chase and pursuit of getting bigger, getting more conditioned, building your physique. And nobody really talks about the fact that, you know, you get to decide how far you really want to take that. And if you decide not to continue the growth, that doesn't make you any less of a bodybuilder or any less of an athlete. I am still a pro and I still love this sport. I've done it for over 10 years now. So it was just me coming to a stage of, I suppose, satisfaction in a way, building a physique that I was very proud of, and specifically not wanting to develop my upper body any more than I already had. So when I got to this point of my career, in my mindset, I knew that I was coming towards the end of my time in the bikini division, and I really wanted to have that fairy tale ending where, you know, I could do one more show because I love being on stage. So we did start a prep to compete in one final show, which would have been the One Bro Pro show here in the UK. And that is a very, very sentimental show to me because it's where I made my pro debut. And I actually came fourth in that show as well, which was amazing. It was such a special day. And I would say I'm quite cheesy, and I like to do things with my full heart, my heart and soul. But I would say that once we started that prep, the more that it progressed, the more difficult it was for me to continue doing the things that just didn't align anymore. So, for example, one of those main things really was training my upper body, because obviously I would need to maintain the muscle that I had built. And honestly, I would sit in my car like this and procrastinate. As much as I wanted to get on stage, the process just didn't feel right anymore. And so not only did I pull the plug on the prep itself, but I also arrived at the conclusion that I was ready to retire from bikini. And it was a really emotional time. Even though it felt right for me, I obviously then had to navigate things like the identity crisis of who I am outside of the sport, who I am without the goal of becoming one of the best pro bikini athletes. Immediately I felt such a sense of relief. I was able to do what I wanted to do in the gym, and for me, honestly, that was doing some cardio, trying to stay a little bit trim for the summer months, training my glutes, training for the glute density, for the glute roundness. There was a lot of accessory work I was doing, but it was nowhere near the level of intensity that I would have needed in order to still do bikini. And I was really enjoying my training, honestly. For the last year, it's just felt so much better for me. And I had such a great year in 2025, even though I didn't step on stage, you know. I was able to prioritize travel with friends without any major restrictions. I went to New York. I had such a fun time with one of my best friends. Spent a lot of time with my family, grew closer with my amazing sisters. And that was something that was very, very important to me as well. Alongside that, I will say that I feel like I've been the most active ever in the industry, even though I never got on stage. One of the best things to come out of last year was the growth of our podcast, Bikini Insider, that I do with Kerry and Suki. Some of you may be here from the podcast as well, so if you are, thanks for, you know, joining in with my channel. It's been amazing for us to have some really in-depth conversations with some of the best athletes in the bikini division and also fit model. We've even had coaches on there, and we've got some great guests lined up for this year too. So that's been a really nice way for me to still sort of play my part in the sport and give back to the industry, because it's something that's very important to me. That brings me on to the back end of last year, which was a trip to the Olympia. There were so many reasons for me doing that. One of them was to support Kerry in her Olympia debut. which was really, really special. And we also did a live podcast episode, which was definitely a highlight for me. Just seeing all the girls in person and being part of the buzz and the energy of the Olympia weekend. It was brilliant. Going there was going to evoke like one of two mindsets for me. And it was either going to be that I'm happy to leave my career there and, you know, I'm completely done with ever stepping on stage in bodybuilding again. Or I'm going to go there and it's going to make me feel a certain type of way. And I'd be lying if I said that that was not the case. I mean, look, I'm even on brand here in this Olympia t-shirt. I did actually just train, so... hence the crazy hair and the random car chat. If we just sort of fast forward to the Saturday night finals of the Olympia, seeing Maureen win the Bikini Olympia title was honestly so amazing, because I'm personally a huge fan of her physique. She's just got such a beautiful presentation, her shape, her structure, everything to me is bikini. It reminded me of why I love the bikini division so much. And I'd be lying if I said that it didn't make me double cross myself, because one thing that I have been told year after year after year from various different people is the similarity between myself and Maureen's physique. And by no stretch am I at her level. She's Miss Bikini Olympia. It's honestly one of the biggest compliments for me, to be honest, is being told that I have any sort of similarity to her. But I do see that in terms of structure, height, the pretty muscle, and that kind of thing. But a lot of people telling me, don't give up on bikini, you could do so amazing in this class still, like, you are bikini. But after going back on a bikini training split for a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, coming back from Vegas, my body started to fight back. I started to develop some niggles here and there, and at one point I actually got really, really painful tendonitis in my knee. And I knew straight away then that this was just not going to work anymore. And not only that, the extreme training was one thing, but the other thing would be me developing more muscle density at the end of the day. And I'd already decided that that wasn't something that I personally wanted for myself anymore. Now, I know everybody means well when they give that encouragement and support, and they want to see you do well ultimately. Not everybody wants to see you do well, but I know I have a lot of very, very special people out there that do want to see me thrive, right? And as much as we had one group of people saying that I am bikini, we also have another group of people and they're saying something a little bit different, and that would be to look a little bit more into fit model, pro fit model. Now, this was not something that was originally on my radar when I retired, because I was focused on other things in life. Now, although that is the case, what I've come to realize is that I have been training in alignment with what would be needed for me to do fit model. So streamlining my physique, not trying to chase loads of muscle growth anymore, and prioritizing things like health and longevity. So the thing that I was told specifically by Tyler was to streamline my physique. Well, I've spent the past year doing exactly that. I've really not trained my upper body, and I do feel like we have gotten a little bit more streamlined. But of course, time will tell, you know, when I diet down, because right now I am not anywhere near the weight that I would be at or composition that I would be at if I was going to compete in bikini, for example. So with all of that being said, and with me training in this way, wanting to shift my focus a little bit for my future, and with that focus on longevity, but also my innate passion for this sport and for setting a positive example. I guess it's time for me to disclose what this new chapter is going to look like, and I'm very excited to say that I've decided to make the switch. I will be coming out of retirement from Pro Bikini, and I will be looking to step on stage in the Pro Fit Model division. This is an opportunity that I just couldn't pass up, if I'm being honest. I really would love to be a part of history, and that's what we all are. All of the new girls that have just turned pro in Fit Model, and any of the bikini girls that maybe are scared to make the switch and sort of sidestep. This is you being part of history, and who knows, maybe I will be able to help shape the division, because right now it's all a little bit up in the air as to what the judges are going to reward specifically. We know the criteria, but it's getting exciting because we're starting to see the shape, we're starting to see the level of development, and you know, the updates from the girls who are going to be doing the Japan Pro show. I really want to set an example and give some of you girls out there the courage and the advice to just go for it, because it may sound on paper, or you may be made to feel as if you are going backwards, but this is not about going backwards, right? This is a sidestep. This is a fork in the road moment where you either go left or you go right. You're not turning around and going back. It still is all centered around personal development and sculpting a physique that you love and that you want to walk around in all year long. And I mean, some of the women that are currently involved in this division and that are part of the community, I find them all very inspiring and motivating. A lot of them are mothers. I mean, Angie, we've got Jane Jones, we've got Emily and Liz, and I did spend some time with the girls at the Olympia too, but I absolutely love the community that these women are building, and some of them are really paving the way, and I would love to be a part of that as well. So I'm really excited to see what this season will hold, not just for me, but for the division, and also for any of you girls out there that are sat on the fence. Please take some inspiration from me, because this is a little bit scary. It's very exciting, and it's going to be a new challenge for me. You know, I already know really where I sit in a bikini lineup with the current muscle that I have or did have, but now we don't know. It's an open playing field, and you know that there's a lot of changes there. This is going to be different feedback, it's going to be different posing requirements, so that's going to push me out of my comfort zone. So you know, there's a lot of changes there. That it's a new thing, it's a new challenge, but in something that I still absolutely love. And in terms of when I may step on stage, that is still also up in the air. I have talked to Jake, my coach, about this, and we're just going to see how we go. We're going to see how we go. We're going to keep our eye on the shows. We're going to keep studying regardless, refining regardless. And when we feel like the time is right, we will jump in with both feet. So that is the big news, and I'd love to know what you all think. So yeah, please leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this decision and the division in general, because I do think that the way that it has developed already in the past year is so beautiful to see. As far as my YouTube channel is concerned, please hit the subscribe button, because this all means that there will be some show day videos being uploaded very, very soon, although I can't say when yet. I know you all love the show day footage, so I'm definitely going to do my absolute best to document bits here and there, document my thoughts, and I guess, yeah, just document this new chapter and this journey. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all so much for the support, for the love, and yeah, bring on the 2026 season. It's going to be a good one. I'll catch you guys in the next video.